The holidays are over and we're rolling into a fresh year. What did the latter part of 2024 bring us? Well, we'll take a look at some of the latest driver recruiting numbers and dive into the freight and spot rate data. Plus, we'll go over some recent driver polls and talk about what they could mean for you and your fleet moving forward into 2025. For Randall Reilly, I'm Joshua Miller, and this is the 30-Day Reset. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the January edition of the 30-Day Reset, the very first of 2025. We hope you all had a safe and happy holiday season. And speaking of those holidays, not all of the data for Christmas and New Year's is in just yet. So the info we're going to be talking about today covers from the end of November to about the halfway point of December. When everything does shake out and we can tell you what's what, we'll dive into the holiday numbers on our next episode at the beginning of February. We're also going to hold off on our usual economic update with Jason Miller until some more of that data rolls in. But he will be back with his normal update next month to touch on the latest data. With all that being said, remember, anything we go over today will be available to you in the form of our 30-Day Reset download. That's available down below. Click the link in the description if you're over on YouTube, or just fill out the form if you happen to be watching us on randallreilly.com. And if you like our monthly updates here, come back and see us next time. We're here at the beginning of every month to bring you all of the latest information and data on driver recruiting, spot rates, freight, economic updates, and more. Each episode covers what happened the previous month, and as I mentioned, we will have free downloads for you with all the data we covered, plus more detailed information that's available to you in it. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're over on YouTube. You could also sign up for our monthly newsletter on our site. We send that newsletter out at the beginning of every month with a sampling of some of our latest content. Now, with all that down, let's get into it. First up, it's Trucking by the Numbers, brought to you by Stratas Strategize. All right, again, remember these numbers do not include the holiday figures, but they cover up through the first half of December. That being said, it is worth keeping in mind that December activity tends to be front-loaded because of Christmas and New Year's that dominate the second half of the month. Typically, that does mean that the second half of December activity does start to fall off and fall more in line with November. We'll see if that holds true next month when we get that data in. Google's search volume for truck driving jobs in November hit its lowest point since all the way back in April of 2021. The first half of December showed an uptick of 9% in searches, but as I just laid out, it's very likely those numbers will fall off and sort of even out for the second half totals. Overall, CPL is expected to end up somewhere between 1% and 5% lower than November's CPL. Costs through the first half of December were actually lower than that, but those costs rise as the month progresses, which usually finishes up a bit lower than November's cost per lead. The higher cost for November jumped by around 20%, which is pretty normal for this time of year. December higher costs typically increase even more as companies and drivers both tend to try and hold off until January of the new year before official onboarding processes begin. The overall truck market conditions improved but still remain weak. Industry experts continue to predict conditions will improve and begin to favor carriers by the end of Q1 2025. Now, let's get into the freight side of things. All these numbers are from the week ending January 3rd from FTR, and I'll link that down below for you as well. The overall load volume increased by 47% following the week of Christmas and comes in 22% higher year over year for the first week of January compared to 2024. Spot rates came in with a 1.6% increase year over year, and by the segments, dry van loads were down 23%, while refrigerated increased ever so slightly, less than 1%, and flatbed loads declined 30% year over year. The year-over-year rate totals were a bit of a mixed bag, with dry van seeing a 2% increase while flatbed rates fell by the same amount, and refrigerated spot rates ticked up 2.5% year over year. For more on the load total, spot rates, and more details on all the driver recruiting data that we covered, check out this month's download, available below. Now, let's get into this month's news story. Are you ready for a fresh start in 2025? Well, if you said yes, you're not alone. It turns out that a lot of the drivers out there are looking forward to turning the page and hitting the ground running in 2025 too. Just how many? According to recent Truckers News polling, only 5% of truckers considered 2024 to be their best year as a trucker, while almost 22% thought of it as their worst. That's not great, But the same poll revealed what drivers felt when asked about looking ahead to 2025. What they have to say? 45% are expecting a pretty decent year and for it to be better than last year. Nearly 9% think it's going to be an especially good year, and just under 5% expect it to be their best year as a driver ever. According to these poll results, a lot of drivers are starting off the year with a pretty optimistic attitude, and that's great news for you. First off, if you're looking for drivers, there's a good number of them that are going to be out there looking for a fresh start and opportunities who are willing to make a change as we head into 2025. It's kind of like those New Year's resolutions we all just made, you know? Everyone is coming into the year hyper-focused and really ready to just get down to it, even if they weren't for most of the year last year. That means that some of those quality drivers out there that weren't really looking to make a change last year may actually be available to you right now. And as a fleet, now is also a great time for you to kind of hit the reset button and wipe the slate clean. Drivers are coming into the new year with high hopes for 2025. Help meet those expectations. Focus on improving what you can and better your dispatcher-driver relationships or just overall reputation among the drivers. It might even be a good time to do some polling of your own to find out from your drivers where they think you can improve. They're coming into the year with a positive attitude. If you make an effort and show you're really looking to make 2025 a great year, and not just for the bottom line, but for the drivers as well, you may just start to shift some of those driver perceptions about your fleet. So, kick things off right for 2025. Stay positive. Act now to get drivers if you need them, and do what you can to improve things for those you already employ to help keep that positive attitude and outlook moving forward. And that's going to do it for this month's show. Remember, if you want more info or you just really like to drill down into the numbers that we covered, you can get access to everything on this month's show, plus more in the download that's featured down below. Jason Miller will be back with us next month for his normal economic update as well, so don't forget to check back in with us then. Until then, thanks for watching.